Welcome to this training session on MobyMax. I'm Robin Dixon and I will be your guide during this session. Today we will be doing a brief overview of 7 reading programs that are designed for our youngest readers. We will walk through these one by one. We will see the program from the student view and then also as the teacher view so that you can see the customizable features that you can add for your class or for each student. So as students come to the sign-in screen, they will go to mobymax.com and it will take them to a sign-in screen. You will see at the top that there are 5 different choices to log in as. We are logging in today as a student. So we want that very first tab that says as a student, and students will put in their username and password, and I will show you later how to do that, how to get those sign-ins and logins. So when a student logs in, they see a screen that looks like this, and at the top there are 5 different options that students can choose from. The first one is the 4 books, and this lists all the programs that are available for that student to see, view, and work through. The second tab, which is the sheet of paper, lists the assignments that have been given to that student. You'll see this student has assignments in math and language. The next one you'll see are the balloons, and this is where students can work through rewards, games, certificates, badges. It's those positive reinforcements for students. The next one looks like a little talking box, and that's for announcements and tasks, as well as a place to send messages. And then you'll see the little glasses and mustache. The students can change the options of their backgrounds if they want to. And we are just going to come over here and leave it right there. So when students go to the programs, they will go to the 4 books. Today, we are going to begin by looking at the program called Phonics and Spelling Rules. So it is in the 3rd row and 3rd over on my screen. It is purple. It has a capital A and a lowercase a. And so students simply click on the icon and it takes them to a screen that says the programs that they are working on. And you will see that it gives them a learning menu. It says, what are you learning today? And this says using TCH to make the ch sound. It also shows the specific lessons and skills. This says learning the sound that TCH makes. The second one says choosing between CH and TCH. And then you will see spelling words using CH and TCH. So it gives them a brief overview.
Which sound do the letters TCH make? Click on the blue sound icons below to hear each sound. Then drag the correct sound up to the gray box.
So students will listen.
Ch, oi, s, ch.
So notice that they can listen multiple times until they have it.
The letters TCH make the ch sound.
So then you'll proceed to the next one.
Which word has the ch sound in it? Ray, scratch, giggle.
Now, let's choose an incorrect answer to see what happens. Oh, it just gave me an X and said I didn't like it. So let's listen again. I think it might be this
scratch.
So I'm going to choose this word. And notice at the bottom that it also tells me how many stars, how many problems I worked through.
The word scratch has the ch sound in it. The letters TCH make the ch sound. Which word ends with the letters CH? B, match.
So then I'm going to choose the answer and move on.
Match ends with the letters TCH. The letters TCH make the ch sound. Fill in the missing letters to spell the word pitch.
So notice that it's making sure that I'm working again on that TCH. So I know that it's this, so I'm going to click on there and click my arrow.
Pitch is spelled P-I-T-C-H. The letters T-C-H make the ch sound.
So it will then walk you through what you've earned. It tells the student the score, tells the student that they scored an 80%. I've earned 20 seconds of game time. I have 4 points and 4 badges. So if you'll remember that place at the start menu where it keeps track of that and students can redeem those. Also up here we can zoom in if students need to see something bigger, and we'll see a clock and it shows how much time I spent in the program, and then it also shows how focused I was during that time. So I was focused and learning the entire time, and then students move forward. So you'll notice that we worked on learning the sound, and then it moves on to choosing between CH and TCH.
We drag up the missing letters to spell the word pitch.
So I'll come up here.
Pitch is spelled P-I-T-C-H. If the ch sound comes immediately after a short vowel, we use T-C-H to make the ch sound.
So you'll notice that it also gives them a rule to follow in using those phonics rules.
Drag up the missing letters to spell the word stitch.
So let's see, I'm going to choose CH. It didn't like it, so then I will come over here. And notice that it shows me how many problems I have for each section.
Stitch is spelled S-T-I-T-C-H. If the ch sound comes immediately after a short vowel, we use T-C-H to make the ch sound.
So notice that it gives them the rules. Again, we've got our clock at the top, and we'll see that when we're in the program, we have a couple of other icons up here. We don't need to worry about those at this point. So that is what a student sees in this program. So again, it would go walk us through this, and then it would give us the spelling rules as well. So now I want to go in and show you, we're going to go back home, and now I want to go in and show you this program from the teacher view so that you can see the customizable features within this program for your students. Now we're going to log in as a teacher. You'll see that the first icon is where the student logged in. The second icon is the one that you will choose, or the second set of words, and it says as a teacher. Now I'm going to come way over here because I am going to log in as an administrator, but please remember that you will log in as a teacher. So you simply type in your credentials. And then it's going to take you to a screen. Yours will not look like mine because I have additional settings and schools and things like that. But when you log in, it will take you to your login screen that looks like this. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of this screen right now. It will be the same for all the programs that we will work through today, so I am just going to show it to you one time. So over here on the left-hand side, you will see quick access. The first one is home, which is where we are now. The second one is modules. So if you click on here, it is going to show you all the modules that you have access to. You can manage those. If you are a primary teacher and you want just to assign certain programs, such as alphabet letters and alphabet sounds, because you're a primary teacher in kindergarten, you can do that. So you can choose which math and reading programs you want to show under your favorites. If we come over here to subjects, you will see all of the subjects areas. And let's look over here at where it says teacher admin, and it says roster. It's the very first blue one. Let's click on roster. It is going to show you all the students that you have rostered in your classroom. Let's say you have a student come in and you need to add that student, because these will be rostered for you at the beginning of the year, but you may have a student move in that you need to add. If you look over here on the far right hand side, you'll see a blue oval shape that says register students. Click on that and it's going to bring a screen up that looks like this. So you can add students. So let's add Carrie Jones. Now notice as I type that it gives me the username and password. And if you remember earlier, when I typed that in for the student, that is where I got that information. So you will have a list of information for your students containing username and password. And MobyMax likes to have the student ID, so I'm just going to type the same information here. I'm going to click Finish, and you will see that that student has now been rostered. I can also come over here and I can create custom groups. Let's say you're using some of these MobyMax programs for intervention. You may create groups here. A student can be assigned to more than one group. So a student could be in your class group as well as another colleague's intervention group. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find the house to go home. It's on the far right in the green box. And it's going to say, yes, I successfully registered a student. So that's awesome. Now I can come over here and I can also go under the gray tab of tools. The first choice says assign lessons. So I can come over here and I can type in phonics. Oops, got to click reading. So let's come over here and it says phonics and spelling rules, which is the program I was working with. And I can click a grade and I can click assignments and choose. Right now it's not saying that there were any assigned on phonics and spelling rules, but in many of our other programs you can assign specific skills. So let's go back home. Now, when we're working in this program, you're going to see three different options in the middle of your screen. One that says differentiated learner, and it has a green circle with a box and 3 bubbles. That is the part that we are working in right now. So you'll see the other options say quick checker and interactive classrooms. Those are programs that we will get to later in the school year. So you will need to click on differentiated learner. It is green and you will click go. And then it is going to take you to a home screen that looks like this. Now, you have a couple of options for viewing. You'll look in the blue box and I'll scroll over, and beneath the home button, you'll see icon. So I am in icon view at this particular time. You can also go to list view. It is your preference, whichever is easier and whichever you prefer. And again, these are also in your quick access on the left-hand side. So if I scroll down here to settings, I have some amazing features in here. First of all, I can set a default setting for all students within the class, or I can choose settings for individual students. So think about how this might look in your classroom. So sound settings, I can turn the sound settings on or off in programs. For the phonics, it is on because we're listening to sound, so it will always be on. I can change the passing score. I can come down here and I can change this for all my students to 80%, 90%, whichever you want. Practice idle time, minutes of idle time before the practice pauses, I can change that time. I can also come over here and automatically assign or turn off lessons. I can also come over here and adapt my motivation settings. It says student earns 1 minute of game time for every 8 minutes. Now, if I'm working with a kinder student or a first grade student, I might want to change that to every 5 minutes or every 6 minutes. They can earn a bonus after every 2 problems correct, or after every 1 problem, or 3 problems. That's for you to determine with you and your students. And then students must earn 20 minutes of game time to unlock a new game. You can change that to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. And then all answers to short problems. That is probably not something that you will need in the early reading programs, but it's there for a lot of the programs. And then you can come down here and turn on notifications. You can change these. I would suggest always turning on when skills are failed or when assessments are complete. And then it will automatically save those settings for you. I can come over here and it shows me all my programs. Over here, early reading and phonics. I can come, if I click over here under early reading and phonics, and I click under learning, you will see all of the programs that have been assigned for that student and have options rather. And so you'll see phonics and spelling rules is right here. If I click on that, I have some options, students starting using current grade level. So if I have a 2nd grade student and I need to do some remediation, I can change the grade level for that student or students. And again, I can assign a specific amount of time and a goal effort for the day. So this would be for all students. I can also hide specific modules for students if they don't need to work through those. And finally, individual student settings. I can come in here and I can change those settings for that particular student. I just added Carrie Jones. So again, I can go through and I can change her settings for this program. So if I come over to the left-hand side and I find early reading and phonics, and I'm clicking on the first choice that says learning, and I will scroll down to the very bottom, it's the very last one, phonics and spelling rules. And then I can individualize for that particular student. So there are many customizable features, not only for phonics and spelling rules, but for all of the other programs as well. So let's proceed to our next program. So the next programs that we will look through are alphabet letters and alphabet sounds. Please notice that I have stayed logged in. I have not logged out. I have just gone to my home screen as a student. So please remember that I am in student view at this particular time. And if I come over here, I changed it for you in student view. Remember that I'm going to click the 3 books with the 1 tilted. So if I click on that, you will see all of those programs. So I'm going to scroll down to the 3rd row, 4th program over. It has 3 boxes that say ABC. And then the next one over says alphabet sounds. Let's take a moment to look at what those programs look like from a student view. So again, I'm going to need to come over here, log in as a student. It timed me out. So I'm going to log back in. And now I'm back at that screen with the books. So now I'm going to go back where I was to alphabet letters. And again, it always tells the students what program they're in. It says, let's go. And let's look at the top. Again, we see the 3 lines, which is zoom. So if a student needs to zoom in, always an option. And again, it's going to show the student the actual time and the focus time.
This is the letter A. This is an uppercase A. This is a lowercase a. Apple starts with A. This is the letter A.
Notice it gives them the words the end so the student knows when to move on. Again, this would be for our earliest learners, pre-K, kindergarten, and possibly first grade.
A.
So I'm going to find the word that starts with A. And notice
A.
I always have that play button option.
Excellent. This is the letter B. This is an uppercase B. This is a lowercase b. Butterfly starts with B. This is the letter B.
Again, it says the end, and it will always introduce
B.
letters.
Good work! This is the letter C. This is an uppercase C. This is a lowercase c. Cat starts with C. This is the letter C.
Again, it says the end.
C.
So let's miss one and see what happens.
Listen to the letter again.
So I click on there.
C.
Oh, it was C.
Great job. B.
Oh, let's listen again.
B.
So I'm going to click.
Perfect. A. Way to go. C. You got it. C.
Now, notice that the students next move
C.
to dragging the sound.
A. A. B. B. Correct. B.
So
B.
this one. Oh, it just moves it over.
B. C. C. A. A. Excellent. Ready to begin your speed drill?
So after
Click Start.
through those, students will complete a speed drill. It always introduces 3 letters at a time. You do have that option in settings to change.
B. Good work. A. C.
So you'll notice what happens if I missed it.
This is the letter D. This is an uppercase D. This is a lowercase d. Dog starts with D. This is the letter D.
So notice that it works through 3 letters and then starts introducing the next 3. So that is alphabet letters. So let's look at alphabet sounds. So alphabet sounds, I'm going to the 3rd row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th over. It has a lowercase a with 3 little sound bars. Let's click on that and look at alphabet letters. So again, tells the student the program that they're in. So a student will click on the green arrow.
This is the letter B. The letter B makes the B sound. Listen for the B sound in each of these words. Boy, bat, bird, box. The letter B makes the B sound.
So notice this time we're moving to the sound, and it gives us the sound of the letter. It changes the color of the letter so that it helps them to visually see which letter is making the sound. And again, it gives the end.
B.
So now I'm listening for the sound. So let's miss one.
Listen to the letter again.
B.
Excellent.
This is the short A. The short A makes the A sound. Listen for the ah sound in each of these words. At, act, cap, mad. The short A makes the ah sound. Ah.
So notice that now they also have to know the symbol for long and short vowel sounds.
Listen to the letter again.
So I'm going to
Good work.
This is the long A. The long A makes the A sound. Listen for the A sound in each of these words. Age, 8. Say, lake. The long A makes the A sound.
So that is the Alphabet Sounds program. So now let's go in and look at the customizable teacher features for letter sounds. All right, so as you're logged back into your account and you have logged into your teacher account, remember that this is your home screen. You log in just like we did earlier. And again, remember that on the left-hand side, you have your quick links. And right in the middle of the screen, I'm circling it right now, you will see one that says differentiated learner. It's differentiated learning, and it has the green circle with the book and the bubbles coming out of it. We want to click on that green go. And we want to click on alphabet letters, which is in the third row, third in. It's kind of a pinky color with an ABC block. So let's click on that for our customizable features. So let's say that I want to go in and I want to customize some features for this student, Carrie Jones, who we just added. Oops. Let's go back. Let's go back home. Let's go down here to settings. So we're going to click the program. Oops. Let's close out. We are in the student program again. There we go. Let's close out. All right, let's try that again. I'm back in teacher mode, so I'm going to click on alphabet. So remember, I'm from my main screen. We went to the differentiated learning green go button, and I'm going to click on settings down at the bottom, teacher administration settings. It's beneath all the programs. And again, I'm going to be at that screen where I can change default settings for all students, or I can set individual student settings. So let's go in and change settings for Carrie Jones. So I can click on that student, and I can come over and I want to look at this module, changing the setting for this student. So I'm going to click Early Reading and Phonics on the left-hand side. And remember, the very first choice under that is Learning. So I'm going to click Learning. And you'll see the very first two choices are alphabet letters and alphabet sounds. Those are the two programs we just worked through. So if I click alphabet letters, I can change the fluency time. So what I can do is I can change this within 5 seconds is the default. So let's say I want students to know letters within 3 seconds, or I have a student that's struggling and I want to give them a little bit more time and I want to change that to 5 seconds to 10 seconds. I can do that. And remember, right now I'm just doing that for one student. So you can change your settings right now for one student, or you can go in and go back and change them for all students. Alphabet sounds, again, I can change the same options. I can change fluency to be within 10 seconds or 3 seconds. I can also set the time for how long I want that student to work each day. So if I have a younger student who is a beginning kindergartner, maybe I just want that student to work for 5 minutes a day, and by December, maybe I'm increasing that time to 7 or 8 minutes. So that's how I would change the settings for just that one student. Or remember, I can go in and change my setting for all students. So it's as easy as that to change the settings for alphabet letters and alphabet sounds. So let's move on to the next component of MobyMax that you might want to use with your students. All right, the next program that we are going to look at is called Phonics Blending. On the student view, it is in the third row, the farthest to the right, in purple, and it says a BL in a box, and it says Phonics Blending. Again, I am in the student mode. I have the student logged in, and I got here by looking at the 3 books and the 1 tilted, so a total of 4 books. Clicked on that, and it took me to this screen. So in the Phonics Blending program for students, what it does is it builds on phonics sounds and blending sounds for over 4,000 words. There are 3 levels within the Phonics Blending program. Level 1 are CVC words. Level 2 has a vowel surrounded by 2 or more consonants on each side. And then we get into multi-complex letters and sounds within Phonics Blending. And each day there is a speed drill component to the program. So let's see what a student sees in this program. So again, we have level 1, level 2, level 3, and let's look at level 1 first. And remember that I'm going to show you how to assign different levels in teacher view after this. And you'll notice again, it always says let's go. It always has the green arrow to proceed. It always has the 3 lines for zoom and sound so they can increase the sound. And again, it's going to show how long the student was in the session and how long were they focused within that session. So I'm going to move over here. And over here. Oop, I need to hear it again. Oh, that's D.
Sad. Sad. Sa. Sa. G. Sag. S. P. Sa. Sa.
Oh, gotta put the right one in. Oh, let's see. Oh, there we go. I had it back.
Sap. Sap. S.
So notice that students can list and multiple times the sounds.
T.
And notice that
Sap.
are CVCs, but that it also then
Sap.
sounds together.
T. T. Sa. Sat.
So I want to show you level 2 phonics blending. So for right now, we are going to go back to the home screen. As a student, I'm going to go over to the purple phonics blending, and I want to show you level 2. So notice in level 2, it has that one consonant with or one vowel, excuse me, with multiple consonants. So we're expanding from our CVC pattern.
B. Br.
So again, we're combining.
Ra. Ra. N, D, D, brand, D, D, brand, brand.
So notice that we're adding in more complicated ones. So I want to show you Phonics Blending 3 briefly. So again, I'm going to go to Phonics Blending on my screen. It is the third row, final one to the right, purple box for Phonics Blending. So let's look at Phonics 3.
Ah, ah. Off, offer, uh, sup,
So notice in level 3 that we are going to more complex words, words with multiple vowels.
some, summer.
So that is the 3 levels of Phonics Blending. Let me show you how you can customize this in Teacher View. All right, so let's look at Teacher View. So again, we're at your teacher screen, home screen. And again, you'll see your quick access links on the left. In the middle, you'll see differentiated learner, quick checker, and interactive class. Remember that we are only working in differentiated learning, the green circle with the book and the 3 bubbles, and we're going to click go. Now let's say I want to do some customization within this program. So I can come down here and I'm going to go down to Teacher Admin. Again, I am in icon view. You can also go to list view if you prefer, just a reminder. And again, let's say this time instead of an individual student, I want to look at default settings for all students. So I'm going to come over here to module. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to see all my programs. We're going to go to the middle. Underneath ELA, you will see Early Reading and Phonics. If we click that down tab, the very first one says Learning. Please click on Learning. And then you will see your 3 phonics programs right down here in the middle. So I can go in here to Phonics Blending 1. And I can set my time here. So I can set, I want them to be fluent in 10 seconds. I want them to do this for 5 minutes. Or maybe I don't want them to do phonics blending at all. For Phonics Blending 1, I can put 0. And I can also set the number of words for daily goals. So let's say I only want them to do 5 or 10 words a day. I can change that as well. You'll see Phonics Blending 2 has the same changes that we can make, as does Phonics Blending 3. So it's as easy as that to customize for your whole class. And also remember that you can customize for individual students by clicking over here where it says individual student settings, and you can modify that for one student or for a small group of students. So let's move on to the next component that we're going to look at today in MobyMax. Once again, I am in student view. I logged in as a student and I went to the 4 books at the very top, 3 straight and 1 tilted, and it took me to this screen. So now let's look at the next program called Phonics Spelling. And it is in the 4th row, the very first one. And so let's look at this one. You'll see it's got a purple box, and we're going to look at phonics spelling. Now in phonics spelling, again, there are 3 levels, just like in phonics blending. Level 1 is CVC words. Level 2, again, is a vowel followed by 2 or more consonants before or after the vowel. And level 3 are more difficult words with vowels and sounds. And in this program, you can customize features such as allowing extra practice time and determining how many times they have to get the question correct to consider mastery. And we'll look at that in just a moment in the teacher settings. So again, we have 3 different levels, just like we saw before in blending. So let's look at each of these quickly from the teacher view, or student view, excuse me. So phonics spelling.
sad,
So students will type the word.
sag, sap,
Let's spell this wrong and see what happens.
Try typing the word again.
And notice it has it at the bottom.
sap,
I can go back and correct it.
s, s, a, a,
So again, you'll see it looks just like the phonics blending
sap,
application.
sap, sap,
So
sat,
let's proceed back to the home screen of the student. And I now want to show you level 2. It will look very similar.
blonde, strand,
So let's misspell this one.
Try typing the word again.
So notice it'll give them the correct spelling
strand,
for them to try. So notice that we're still using one vowel with one or more consonants around the word.
s,
So
s,
to work exactly like phonics blending at this point,
st,
combining
str, str, a,
you've got the idea
stra,
that
stra, strand, strand,
and
duh,
blend into one word.
strand,
So let's look at phonics level 3. Again, I'm at the student view, so I'm going to go to phonics spelling and level 3.
hammer,
So you'll notice the words get more difficult and they have multi-vowels.
Try typing the word again.
So I can come back
hammer,
and fix the word. So again, it looks just like phonics blending.
ham,
hammer,
So that is phonics spelling levels 1 through 3. So let's go into teacher view and I will show you how to change settings within phonics spelling. Let's look at teacher view for phonics blending, or phonics spelling, excuse me. So again, I'm at the teacher home screen, and just like we've done before, you're going to go to the tab in the middle that says Go, and it is green for differentiated learning. I'm going to come down to settings under teacher administration. And again, I can change a setting for all my students or for an individual student. And these are my general settings. We talked about those earlier, and we're going to come over here to modules. We're going to scroll down until we see early reading and phonics. We're going to click on the one that says early reading and phonics. We're going to click learner, which is the very first one. And we're going to scroll down until we find phonics spelling. And again, you will see, just like in phonics blending, 3 levels. So again, in phonics level 1, I can change right here the number of attempts. So practice for 2 correct answers. If I want to change the number of attempts, and let's say I want to change it to 1, I can change it to 1 attempt, Or let's say I have a student who I know needs multiple attempts. I can go into individual students and I can change that as well. The practice time and the number of words for the daily goal. These look exactly the same for phonics levels 2 and 3. So maybe for phonics level 1, you only want them to you want them to get it right once with just one practice. Whereas maybe phonics spelling 3 with those more difficult words and patterns, you want to give them maybe 3 or 4 practices. So you can also customize within each level of the phonics spelling. And again, I can come up here to individual students and change those settings for one or more of my students. So let's move on to our next component within MobyMax. All right, I have logged in as a student once again, and I clicked the 4 books, the 3 straight and 1 tilted, to get to the student screen. And the last program that we are going to look at today is foundational reading. It is in the 4th row, second over, and you'll notice it's blue box with a book and looks like a balloon. This program is able to go up through 5th grade. This also works on counting syllables, rhyming, sight words. It also gets into Greek and Latin roots as well as context clues. So this program we can use with all of our elementary students. So let's see what students look at when they see this program. So what it's going to give us first is a placement test because it needs to place a student in a given area. Now, I will show you in just a moment how you can customize where that placement test starts for a class or group of students or an individual student.
Today, we'll start with your placement test. This is important. You'll want to focus and try your hardest so that you can start at the right level. Click on the word that you read first.
So you'll notice this is a beginning, concepts of print.
Drag up the letters to spell the word. P, I, G.
So let's see. I don't like where I put those. I can also drag and move
I, G.
to get the word.
Drag the correct word to the line to finish the rhyme. The ball is small.
Move the pictures into the correct boxes based on the number of syllables in the words.
So you'll notice
Lion, sloth, elephant.
the skills get harder through the placement test.
Listen to the onset and rhyme and blend them together. Which word do the sounds make? W, ebb. Which word has the b sound at the end? Ball, crab, lamp.
So let's say I confused this and I said this for a beginning sound. Notice that in the placement
Replace one of the letters to change this word from red to rid.
So I'm going to have to click.
I,
Oh, so then I click up here. And this is the placement test. So it will walk through students through all these skills and then it will give them a placement level of where they need to be. And then students will work on these skills at the level that MobyMax has assigned them to. So let's stop in student view and let's move over to student view for foundational reading. And then I want to end by showing you reports within MobyMax for these programs. So once again, I'm at my teacher home screen. You know the drill. We go to differentiated learning. I'm going to scroll down to settings, or remember that I can also get to that through my quick links on the left-hand side right here. More than one way to get to anywhere in the program. And let's come over here to modules. And let's say I want to look at changing for one particular student. So I'm going to come down here to early reading and phonics on the left-hand side. I'm going to click learner, and it's going to take me to my tabs. This time we're up a little bit higher, and we're going to the one that says foundational reading. Now, notice that we can change this testing placement. Notice that we started with kindergarten, and then we can choose a grade level to end. That is why we saw some of those beginning initial skills. We can start testing at any grade level. We can use the student's grade level. So we have some features that you can customize that way. You can start them with no placement test, and you can show whether the answer was correct after the student problem if you want that turned on. Now, this is a place where right now we're in student setting for all students. So maybe we have a second grade student and we want to start our class. We're a second grade teacher. We want to start them all at kindergarten just to see where they are. Or perhaps you're a third grade teacher and let's start at second grade to see where they are that way, or with first grade. We can also come in, and this would be a great place to customize for individual students. So if you have a student who you know may need to go and scale back, you can come over here. I'm in Loretta's work right now. I'm going to come down to early reading and phonics. I'm going to click learner. And remember, foundational reading is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th from the top. So it's a little bit earlier than what we've seen today. And let's say I want that student, that's a third grade student, but I want her to start at first grade, and I want it to automatically end where she needs to stop. So I can customize that way. Or let's say this student is a first grader and she is working on a higher level. I could also change this to second grade and have it set to end. So it is a great way to customize foundational reading for groups of students or individual students. So let's take a moment to look at reports. And there are unsaved changes. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and save. And I want to go into some report features. So let's spend a moment on reports. So we've looked through lots of programs today, and we've done some work as a demo student. So let's look at these reports that are available for all students. So I'm just going to choose phonics and spelling rules. You'll notice that it brings up the students, and within this it's going to show where the student is. You'll notice that student demo is the only one that's completed work. 6 minutes that student has on the problems. They have a 78% correct on those problems, and they were focused 100% of the time. And the last session score was 80. So that's a snapshot. So I can go into progress, and I can look at this student, and I can see that in this, the student's ending grade level was third grade, and the beginning was third grade. And the reason that it's the same is I've only done a few problems as the demo student, so this will change over time. I can look at what lesson students are on. And there's also a goals and IEP task. Maybe you want to set a goal for students, or you're using this for GEI. You can use it for something like that as well. So those are some basic reports. And again, we have those for all the programs. So let's look at alphabet letters. Again, you'll see the student. It will show the date that they were last in, the total amount of time. It'll show you that I had 33% correct on my last assignment as I did that. And I was focused 91% of the time. And it also shows you how much time the student spent in that session. So this student spent 4 minutes in the last 7 days, and 4 minutes in the last 30 days. Now that might be beneficial when you are looking at why is a student not making progress in MobyMax, or why is a student not seeing a transfer of skills? This could absolutely be why. So maybe you're also using this to track GEI information or data, and you want to see if using this program is increasing students' ability. They have to be in the program to do that. And maybe you've set a time where you want that student to practice alphabet letters 10 minutes each day. Again, a progress tab and a goals tab. And those reports are available for all programs. And over on the left-hand side, you'll also see custom reports. That is something that you are not going to need to know right away, but it is an option. So we have reviewed many programs today within the MobyMax suite. I hope that you have found these helpful. And the last one that we're going to do today is sight words. So let's click on sight words and the student view. Okay, I almost forgot to go over sight words with you. We should have done that before reports. So let's take a moment to look at the sight word program. Again, when the student logs in, he or she will go to the 4 books. And sight words is in the very bottom row, 4th one over in a pink box, and it has the word the. Now, you have the choice of Fry sight words and Dolch sight words. Please remember that Dolch words, there are a list of 315 words that were developed in 1936 that started with 220 of the most common words in children's books, and it was later expanded to 315 words. Fry words were originated in 1957 and updated in 1980. And these are over 1,000 words that are the most frequent words on up in grades 3 through 9. So let's just pick one and go. So let's start with Fry. So there's Fry and Dolch. They will work exactly
Almost.
Excellent.
Add.
Good work.
Above.
Great job.
Above. Above. Add. Add. Almost. Almost.
Perfect.
Above. Above. Almost. Almost. Add. Add.
Way to go. Ready to begin your speed drill?
So each day
Click Start.
speed drill and practice.
Add.
You got it.
Almost.
Let's miss that one.
Above.
Correct.
So that is how the sight
Began.
words work. So it will work the same way whether you choose Fry or Dolch.
Again,
Excellent.
after,
Good work.
an,
Great job.
So
after,
work the
again,
same way whether you use Fry or Dolch words. So let's take a moment to look at this
again,
view. All right, now I'm in teacher mode. So again, you know the drill, differentiated learning. I'm going to come down to settings, which is beneath all the programs, the green gears. Let's just stay in default for all students and go to modules. And you know that all of the early programs are under early reading and phonics about halfway through. I click on the down arrow and then I'm going to click on learning. And you'll notice that I have Dolch words right here alphabetically, and then Fry words down here as well. These are all, programs are all listed alphabetically. So if I go into the Dolch words, I can again determine how fluent do I want those students to be in finding those words. Do I want them to find them in 3 seconds, 10 seconds, etc. I can also determine the level that I start with. I can set the amount of time per day as well. And in Fry, it looks exactly the same. And again, I can set my default for all students, or I can set my default for one student. Maybe I need to check John starting with a lower level. And let's say for John, I want John to start at the kindergarten level because he's a third grader and he's still struggling. I can adapt that. Or let's say I have a kindergartner who I know is ready for more advanced words. I could start that kindergartner at first or second, for example. So that's how we change our programs for fry words and Dolch words. So now that we have looked at all the programs and looked at the reports, I hope that you have found many ways that you can apply the MobyMax program in your classroom